Good morning, good morning. How is everyone? Trying to figure out mic placement is a pain in the ass. Hey Bubbles, how are you? Hey Pete. Alright, one day I will figure this out. You ever just feel like you don't know what you're doing? That's me most of the time. And messing with my mic while I'm live is probably not the move. So, hello Mandy. How's your morning going? Your errand? Alright, then I will start a guest star pirate. Ooh, post office, what you doing? Hi, Chaos. You know what you're doing. Also, I see your thread that you started. I'm like, I want the whole Mandy thread. Also, good time to see if guest star, if my stream deck is working. It's working, yay. Oh god, my face. Hello. Hey, Gil. Hey, Furwick, how are you? You know what you're doing. I'm also trying to be very careful because, I've got a candle on my desk and I just put a teddy bear next to the candle. I also see that Pirate is awake. Oh no, what happened, Furwick? Ooh, let me also do that. Alright, I got that clip. Let Brian stream stay in the background. For now, one guest. I know what I'm doing. Why is this acting like I'm new? Sorry, it is like they made a bunch of changes, so it's like, hey, you're brand new to this, aren't you? Oh no, Furwick, I'm so sorry. Hey Trig, how are you? I know that feeling, Mandy. I am tired and I did not want to today. Hey Spriggle Bear. But yeah, let's get some coffee, drink. So let's talk about this thing with guest star really quick before we get into TwitchCon. Now we can let people invite people. We can invite people. Hey Raju, sorry I missed you at TwitchCon, but thank you for loot. Hello. So we can now allow people to request to join guest star. I hate that. All of us hate that. We can say audio only, but I kind of hate it. I deeply hate this. And I know that for some people, they may use guest star that way. I will never just bring rando fucking people into guest star. I would never do that. but I feel a way about that. And I know Mandy has joined me on guest star. I can close this now. I've opened guest star. How many times in one stream can I say guest star? That's a new game we can play. Hey, Cooking Bacon. If you all could also share the Go Live tweet, I would deeply appreciate it. Because we can't host anymore. So guest star is what I'm using, Rajio. So for those who don't know, guest star is a new product from Twitch. I know, right? You can probably still do it on mobile if you know the Nightbot syntax. Basically, it's an answer to OBS Ninja or Ninja, however you say it. So basically, I can pull people in via video and have you on the stream. So if you've seen Motherlands for the first 2 episodes, that's what we're using for Motherlands. Instead of like a Zoom call, cropping it, so this way, let's say I invite you to Rajio and you're not ready, what have you, but you're like, you let me get in, you can be in the background, but I can leave you backstage until you're ready to join the stream. Or let's say Pirate's gonna join me, which he actually is, and he has to drop out for dog stuff. I can swap you two if you're ready to go. I mean, because people have been using it for months. I've been using it on Motherlands. I've used it on a few streams. The kinks that I'm seeing in it are things that they are offering that I, as a Black queer streamer, would never, ever fucking use. I would never invite a random person. I would never invite a random person to the stream. So all partners now have access to it. Some affiliates might. So if it's in your dashboard, then you have access. It's in beta now. It's like getting close to everyone having it, but all partners have access to it now. I started using it in the alpha stage where it was still very rough, and the newest OBS update takes away the need for a plugin for virtual cam. So it's literally in the settings. I just turn virtual cam off and on. It's a little bit of setup at first, but this way, let's say if you do podcasting, you do what have you. And also, I did not mean for this to turn into a commercial for this product. We are going to talk about TwitchCon. So it is, but that's why you can now request. So I'm going to look at it. I'm not going to acknowledge it. No, only certain Twitch users. So I can say only subs can request. So I'm not going to accept requests, but here's the thing where I can say that. So you can put your hand up and say, I want to be on the stream. That's an option I can turn off and on. I can say only subs. You have to have been following for at least a half hour. So no one who literally just followed can be invited either. At bare minimum, I would do that. Hey, Lamia. So if you're a sub, you can do that. And I can turn requests off. So now we're back to I have to invite you. And if you're doing some kind of radio call-in show, sure, I guess it could work. I would never do that. Not in a million fucking years. Or Discord where you can have the stage. There are reporting features. So let's say you're watching this stream and someone acts up. For some reason, I lose my mind and invite an unknown person onto this stream. You could report that person. There is reporting. There is guest reporting. Now, they've been working on this for quite a while. So this isn't like They just threw it out there to all the partners. It's been going for quite a while. Wow. Oh, this person's blocked, so never mind. Sorry, I saw some anti-cancel culture tweet. I was like, oh, good. That person was blocked anyway. Furwick, were you somehow laughing in your sleep when I was like, where's Furwick? There's fire. Because I was playing the Division 2 and feels like you should have been there. Hey, Shamakin. Yes, TwitchCon. I'll start until PaintingPirate can join us. Because he has doggo and morning things to do. So TwitchCon was interesting. It was the first time since 2019. There is a clip, actually, yes. Oh, I feel bad. I just dropped a mouse. Also, I don't know what to do with the mic yet. Well, I'm gonna get there. So I'm just gonna say this up front. I don't want to give a lot of time to the whole ball pit thing or all the shenaniganry that happened because A, that isn't the kind of thing that I want to really focus on. And also, I'm just gonna say this up front. I do not approve, do not like, and do not find funny any of the jokes or memes being made about the woman who had a broken back. That said, I also put some of it on her for doing a fucking high jump and split onto what looked to be a bunch of loose foam. You should have known better. So both parties are at fault. But I keep seeing memes and jokes. Also, I realized there's music going and it's probably louder than me. So sorry. I forgot I was playing music. I don't have my headphones in. And I won't have them in until Pirate joins me. So yeah, so I don't find that funny. I don't want to. I mean, I don't mind the music, but I was worried it was louder than me. Megaran, hello. Good morning. How are you? I'm just talking TwitchCon. How are you? Were you at TwitchCon? Did I totally miss you? Can I get a shout out for Megaran? This is the new Blue Sona from Logitech for Creators and Blue Microphones. Hashtag sponsored. Hey, Spriggle. It is a new directional mic, so if you have a Shure SMB, you might want to consider this one instead. Thank you. Well, this is the same camera. I'm not sure what I did differently, but it's still my same fuggo face. I have lint on my head, so good job, me. But yeah, I've got this like line of dots that I'm super self-conscious about, so let's just cover that with my hair. But yes, this is a new Blue Sona mic. But yeah, TwitchCon was interesting because it was the first US TwitchCon in 3 years. Even with TwitchCon EU, there had not been one in the US since 2019. I did 5 panels. LadyLuck, who's in and out because she's doing errands, was on one of them. PaintingPirate, when he gets here, was on 2 of them. 2 were in Creator Camp. So, it was good to be back. It was good to be back paneling. So, reminder, I don't go to cons just to go. I go to conventions if I'm working, if I'm paneling, if I've got a table. I don't go just to go. Because cons ain't cheap. There was a lot of money spent that's on credit cards right now. So. Right. Well, Dimples, a lot of people think, like, oh my God, you get to go to all these things. And it's like, I'm working. I'm working a lot. I'm not just there just to be there. I was gonna say, well, you didn't see me. No, because I was fucking tired at the end of each day. Friday night, when all the parties were happening, I sat the fuck down and didn't move and made it to 0 events. 0. Um, oh, all of us were dead after Gen Con, especially those of us that caught the Rona. We were just sitting outside, like Pirate and I and Mandy and Springleaf. We just sat around outside because the hotel we were at had tables with fire pits outside. But it was interesting. It sold out as far as I know, and I think the last of the tickets. Oh, hey, there's speaking of pirate. Hold, please. All right, let me get a pirate. Yes, I know. Good lord. Oh, hi.
Hi.
All right, let me add you to stream. Because of all the updates, it's treating it like I've never used guest star before. Oh, let me move you because you are moved up a little
I'm
high.
squished.
No, you're taller than that.
That's true.
All right, there you go. We have a painting pirate. Do you have a pub nub link handy?
Oh, yes, let me grab one for you.
And I will open my pub nub because I think I have captions going. If not, I'll fix that real quick. Actually, I wonder if I still have your pub nub from last time. I do not because
Right.
I ran because guess who deleted everything because I thought that um because I thought that it was all broken. Huzzah. Wow, a cat husband? What in the entire fuck?
I know the captions come up with some interesting stuff from time to time.
I was like, cat husband? That's a word. All right. I'm also gonna switch it to back to deep bold white so people can see that. There you go. And I will grab
Yeah, let
yours.
me know if you need me to change any of the settings online.
Is it the default white or bold white?
It's white background, black text right now.
That
I can
should
change
work.
it to the bold white.
All right. Hello. It sounds like we got a raid. Oh no, that was Megaran resubbing. Hello. But yeah, I was just starting to talk about like panels, and since you were on both panels, two of the first panels I did,
I was.
um, I have thoughts about it, and I saw Mandy also was doing a short thread this morning about. Oh, yeah, if you could change it to bold white, that'd be dope. Oh, it
Yeah,
actually showed that. Weird.
I think I changed it.
We'll know in a minute because I'm cropping it so it does not take over the whole screen. There we go.
There we go. Hey, there we go. I did it right. Go me.
Yay. Wow, it said hey baby.
Yeah, that's
Wow. Wow,
not really
captions.
my vibe, but I can I'm sure I can switch if that's what it wants me to do. Like, hey baby,
Oh my god, now we have to get you the Sona mic so you can do the
it's a good
ASMR
Saturday
voice.
morning.
Oh
Welcome in.
god. Not you too.
But yes, panels, we did those.
Yeah, and I was thinking especially about the career versus hobby panel
Mm-hmm.
because we had a lot of people who um asked questions where they basically wanted us to give them permission versus actually answer the question. Hey Wibble, hello,
Yep.
hello. Yeah, the captions are getting frisky, y'all.
It's only 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning for me. That's like, yeah, we're starting this early. Okay, that's
Well, thank you, Shireen. Welcome on in. Welcome in. Enjoy your lurk. Lurkers are quite welcome. Hey, Cuddle. And because what was so, I don't remember the person's name. Thankfully for them, but the person that was just like, Well, what about kids get upset when I miss a stream because they were doing like Minecraft and Pokemon and they have the friends that don't respect their boundaries. Ooh, that was a whole lot.
Yeah, that's it's difficult too because I get it. Like it's one of those things where I feel like one of the things that I would kind of like to see Twitch do maybe is before you're ever like able to stream, like give some resources to watch on stuff like that. So you can skip past it and avoid, but that's on you at that point. But so many people just it's an aspect that we've talked a lot about how people assume they can just turn the camera on, go live, and an audience will magically manifest. And we've talked a lot about how that's not a thing that happens. But definitely maybe there's more room to discuss the things that you don't really think about before going live for the first time, about the things you need to mentally prepare yourself for. It's like when an audience does start showing up, how you manage that. And it, certainly with the hobby versus career aspect to it, managing your IRL relationships versus the relationships that you're starting to foster with the community.
Yes.
Because let's be candid, and it was certainly the case for me, and I imagine it's the case for quite a few people, that your initial audience are frequently going to be people you know. Like you're going to get your friends, your family members, they're going to be the ones who show up to support you, in assuming you have supportive friends and family, which I hope you do. Not everyone does. But yeah, Kiros is just wandering around in the back. He's been attached to me ever since I got back. It's ridiculous.
No, Furwick, you cannot just go to Costco and buy an audience.
Oh, I wish that were the case. But I mean, you kind of can, but they just follow us, and Twitch doesn't like when you do that. But that jump in mindset of, oh, these are my friends, to now I'm starting to get people I don't know, and I can't treat them the same way. It can be a difficult mindset to adjust to, especially if you're not used to interacting with an audience. So, but at the same time, like trying to be kind, but I don't want to be dismissive in saying your inability to set boundaries is something that you need to work out with a therapist. That's not something we can answer in a 30-second snippet on a panel.
Yeah, because there was also the guys. I mean, and this is all public. We're not just telling on people. This was things that Gavin Friend said of an audience.
Yeah, you can see this shit on the VOD.
Yeah, we're not just be like, here, we're telling on people. They said this in front of God and everybody at TwitchCon. And there was the guy that was basically like, I get told my art's great, all this stuff. I basically don't have an audience. And it's like, do you promote your stream? What do you do to get an audience?
It was honestly even worse than that too, because it was like, okay, I applied for everything and they told me they liked my stuff, but I don't have the numbers. What do I do? It's like, what answer you expecting here other than build your numbers? Because you're not going to get an answer other than that. And that's like you said at the top, they're kind of asking for permission. What they're looking for is some magic like genie lamp that they can rub that will suddenly make sponsors not care about an audience. It's like, sorry, if they're going to want to work with you and like 2 people are going to actually purchase whatever the activation is, that's not financially feasible to them.
Hey, we got a
They're not going to
raid
want to
from
work with you.
Brian. Hello.
Hey, hello.
Welcome on in, Brian. How was the rest of Idle Champions? And for those that didn't see, Kent is coming to Idle Champions.
Yes.
Eugenio's character this Wednesday. Welcome in, everyone. JA, oh my god, 58 months. Holy shit.
Wow.
Well, it's weird because I had an affiliate button for several months before I got partnered. So it was really weird. So my sub button is like not, because affiliate didn't exist at first.
Right.
Yes, I was lurking. I still had chat up even though we're over here. Hello. And yes, auto shoutouts are still working. Thank you, Nightbot. Everything broke with OBS and Windows 11, so but yeah, I mean, a lot of us would like a shortcut Kosa, but I put in 8 years, and if there was a shortcut, would it be the same? Just because because here's the thing, quality over quantity is something I think people need to learn. Wow, Esoterica, thank you. And a hype train started. Huzzah.
Hey, choo choo. But like that's a very valid point. Like people think, oh, I'm gonna go and sit down and stream for 12 hours, and that's gonna be the thing I need to do to grind. It's like, no, don't stream for 12 hours, which is just you staring at a thing and maybe speaking up every couple of minutes or so. Don't do a 12-hour stream because you're gonna burn out and you're not gonna be able to really get any meaningful assessment of how that stream went. Do an hour, 2-hour stream that's condensed and engaging. That's what people are going to interact with. Because the spoilers, your audience aren't going to sit there and watch you for 12 hours. It ain't going to happen.
I don't want to watch anyone for. I don't want to watch some people for 5 hours. Sweet Potato says, I'm finding self promo difficult because it's really hard for me to talk to myself. Or do you mean about yourself? Or do you mean in terms of like your view count, etc.?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, about yourself. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to do.
It is.
I hate talking about myself. And even I'm glad friends will talk me up, but I also just get overwhelmed. I'm like, no one wants to hear about me. Goodbye.
I will. So I do a trick that's worked for me with that. And again, this is very like unique for me. It worked for me, not going to work for everyone. But I was able to help by setting a mental separation between myself and the content.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason that I've pivoted the stuff I do to stuff that I'm super passionate about. It's much more of a niche audience. And has it caused growth problems? Yeah, absolutely it has. Like the stuff I do I'm doing playthrough of the original like Final Fantasy Mainline series. That's not a lot of people want to see like the new hotness. They don't want to come in and see me playing a 25-year-old game necessarily, especially when they don't know who I am. But it's so easy for me to talk about, and it has that passion in there. I start talking about it's not me bigging up myself, it's because I'm genuinely excited about the stuff I'm making. That really helps push past that barrier for me. Same with the mini painting. I'm doing the stuff that I loved as a kid, and sharing that enthusiasm, like because I'm genuinely passionate about the stuff I'm putting out, that makes it easier to talk about because I'm not building up myself. I'm not talking about me because I absolutely struggle talking about myself too. Because I'm so enthusiastic about the stuff I'm doing, that it really helps push past that barrier. So that's the thing that worked for me. Again, not going to work for everybody, but and generally good advice in general. I think like if you're passionate about the thing you're doing, that's going to carry through. And that's the thing your audience is going like. One of the like that was actually a big thing that that came up during that one of the creator camp panels that LadyLuck and I attended, was we like the talk about don't, and I think it came up in a couple of years as well. So I feel like don't chase the new hot game that just came out just to chase it because you think that's going to give your audience, because if you don't care about it, that's not going to translate into engaging content. Because if you're like if you're playing, I don't know, a new FPS that just came out and you're not an FPS gamer, that's not going to be engaging because you're going to be kind of confused and not really care about it. Like chase the stuff, like the new stuff that come out can help with the engagement, but don't chase it just because. Do it because it's something that you genuinely care about. Like the lack of enthusiasm, definitely, like people can tell. People can read your energy.
Yeah, because I mean, their game. I literally like a variety of games. I was on a panel about variety gaming, and we all talked about kind of like what made us decide to go to variety versus one game, one niche. And I'm about to butcher her name. I want to call her Maud, and that's not the right name. The Australian woman. Maud Garrett, that is her name.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I think that is who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, Maud brought up a good point, and we'll come back definitely to the career versus hobby, where it's you need to be a personality streamer, not so much a niche streamer. Where what are you doing that will bring people back? There are people that will show up if I'm doing just chatting, and I'm like, I don't know that I necessarily want to sit here and always listen to just chatting, but people will show up for that more. than me doing painting or gaming or what have you. And I think that's where it clicked for me, is that you need to be engaging no matter what you're doing. And I know we talked about this after the panel in person, but what I would encourage people to do is go back and look at your VODs. Look at, are you repeating the same content? Are you repeating the same things? And this goes for everyone in the chat. If you're not getting clips, why are you not getting clips? Even if you make them yourself, because you can clip your own channel while you're live. I've done it. What are the things that you're doing that are not getting the engagement you think you should? And this is a hard thing. I hate looking at videos of myself. I hate listening to my own voice. But you need to go back and critique your own content. And it sucks. I hate it. I hate it. Anyone needs to do that. But it's a way to reevaluate, or get a friend that's going to be brutally honest with you. And not in a tear you down way, but in a, hey, there's the ways I think you could improve way. I mean, we talked about the I don't want to look at myself, but hey, I need to.
And honestly, for that, something I found helps with that, because when I do like my clip compilations, because that same way, I don't necessarily like looking at video back of myself. It's necessary. I even put, when I'm editing the clip video compilations together, I add an extra layer which is just a little colored square, and it pops over the video, so I can focus on the audio rather than obsessing over the way I look. That really helps for me. Like, really helps. And yes, as Seven Dash just pointed out, that stream marker button is so incredibly helpful. And yeah, take your own clips. Like you said, like I was just going through, because I'm in the process of redoing my intro video, so I was digging back through my clip pages of my channel, and noticed, yeah, back at the beginning when I first started out, almost all of those clips are ones that I took myself, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I would argue, even don't just rely on like clips. Like many of us in the immediate community have the benefit of people like LadyLuck, who are a prolific clipper, but don't just rely on that. Like, go through, take your own stuff, hit that stream marker button. If you have a stream deck, great. If not, it's on the dashboard too. Your mods can do it as well if you have those. But like, yeah, go back and assess it, because it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah. I mean, for me, in my early streams, there weren't a lot of clips, or it was all clips of me failing. And if you're gonna take clips of people, that's something you should consider, because if I go back and it's just all me failing and never wins, or me getting upset on a stream, that shows that you're entertained by me not having a good time. So that's something to consider too, if you are a person who makes clips. Making that my name now, prolific clipper.
You're just racking up these titles.
Yeah, not social media manager, prolific clipper.
Yep.
I need to make you an auto shout out, queen of the clips.
But like Herb just said, yeah, it really does feel like people watching for the content of the creator. Most of my clips have zero to do with the game I'm playing. They're watching for the creator. They're not watching for the game. They're watching for you. Because if all they want to see is the game, they can go find a playthrough on YouTube or something. Like, there's why should people? That's ultimately the question to ask: is why should people come to you? And also, it's somebody who I think is a great example of that kind of personality, and somebody who people come for in a pool of everyone doing the same type of thing is DJ. I think DJ Knight is a phenomenal example of that, because like yesterday, even he was doing No Man's Sky, which had drops enabled, so there were a whole bunch of people doing No Man's Sky yesterday. But DJ he's engaging. He has that great personality for it. He's very engaging to watch and listen to, so he's a good stream to hang out for that type of stuff. Like, there's plenty of reasons to watch him doing that over the 5,000 other people who are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, because I could have got drops anywhere. I could have opened any stream, muted it, and got the drops. I mean, with the caveat that DJ's my friend, I enjoy his stream.
Right.
But he's genuinely funny and engaging, and he's just a joy to watch, because the joy in what he's doing comes through. Wow, that's interesting, Brian.
Oh, I'll believe that, absolutely.
If you have a link, I'd love to see that. I mean, he's singing, but he's a voice actor. And to praise DJ, I'm sure his ears are gonna ring. I should text him, be like, "Are your ears burning? We're talking about you on stream." He taught game design, so when he gets the people in his chat that come in and want to talk shit about games and game design that literally know nothing about it, he can go, did you know this? And that's what I enjoy, because like, I know about making games, but I have not coded a game, but I've been involved in game dev. But the people that come in and go, oh, devs are lazy, writers are lazy, why don't they have like multiplayer? Do you have multi-millions of dollars to make multiplayer happen? Please tell me where you have this money. I prefer watching a streamer. I like playing a game. I don't over the other way around. Fair, Millum, fair. But going back to our panel, because the other part of the career versus hobby, it just felt like there were people that were all super new to streaming and wanted quick, easy fixes to just wave a wand and get an audience.
Yep. Which, for, I guess, a panel like title of that, I probably is going to attract people who are newer. I kind of get that, but yeah, it kind of makes me wonder if there's like better ways to disseminate that. Yeah, where's your question?
Wow, call me out.
Every time.
Just call me out. Although I did have to say that.
That's an entire panel that could be beneficial. Is a panel on ways to ask questions at a panel. Get real meta with it. Only the people who would need it would never show up.
Yeah, I've submitted that to PAX. They've never taken it. A panel on how to run a panel. Oh, really, Pete?
I'll believe it.
I almost came off the stage, though, during the variety panel when the dude was like, so here's my backstory. I'm like, I'm going to come off this panel. I will come down in the audience. Self-awareness panel, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the parasocial, I looked at the VOD. That was a mistake. That was absolutely a mistake. As Mandy would say, mistakes were made.
Because of chat, because of the questions that we got, like which aspect of this was the mistake?
Looking at the chat, because I don't know what the fuck cooking stream they were talking about, but they kept asking about a cooking stream, which wasn't even on that channel, because all the TwitchCon channels were named for the room the panel was in. So why were they looking for a fucking cooking panel in this room?
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, I know what that was. That was the thing that was going on the main stage, but yeah, how did you wind up in this? Like, it was, what was it, freaking like nom nom at that point? Like, why are you over, like, what?
Because nom nom, they probably assumed cooking.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. There actually is some. Okay, there is some logic to that, I suppose.
Not much, but some.
No, but it's there. It's present, which is more than we usually get.
Yeah. 7- actually had a question. Do you feel like new streamers should have to get a feel before they should decide if it's hobby or not? 1000%. 1000%. Because that was kind of the gist of the panel of, how do you know this is for you? Because I'm just going to say, and it's going to hurt people's feelings, and I don't care, not everyone should stream. Not everyone's a content creator.
And not everyone should stream should create content on Twitch. Like, some people are way better suited to doing pre-recorded content on YouTube because they struggle with interacting with the live audience, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a personal failing if it winds up not for you, or it's not a skill set that you have. But that's a real difficult thing for people to wrap their heads around.
And it's not a failure, because I feel like a lot of people, if they try to stream and it doesn't work out, they will treat it as a personal failure. It's not. It's understanding your strengths, and also, this is something that I saw Panda tweeting about, but I'm going to be honest and say I disagree with a lot of what you tweeted, because true, you need to diversify your content, but no one has ever said it's easy. I don't, at least not to me. And I don't think the assumption should be people are saying it's easy, because content creation unto itself is not easy. You're your own marketing, social media, artist, unless you hire artists. There's a lot in that that is never easy. And if anyone is doing content creation and thinks it's easy, that means either they don't know what they're doing, they've never tried to do this on their own, or they came into content creation after they already had a full staff. So
Seems like your mic volume might have just dropped a bit.
it's a directional mic, so if I move, you're gonna lose me. Also, it's been brought up. I'm going to do this. I have not touched my mic. Although maybe I also touched a button because I started fidgeting with the Go XLR.
Yeah, it just got way much better.
I touched the Go XLR, so that was probably me.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, hi, you're louder too. I forgot I'm using the Go XLR. I didn't forget as I'm staring at it, but I also touched it because I'm fiddling with it because it's dusty and it is bothering me. So I touched it. I touched a button. Well, as Mandy would say, well, and easy though, because you do have to diversify your content. That's the thing. You do, and no one's saying put content on literally every platform. No one should ever try to do that, because you will burn out, you will lose your mind. It is hard because I want to disagree respectfully, but also I know what I've dealt with and I know what you've dealt with, and I don't want to disacknowledge that. I think a lot of people that say it's easy don't do content creation. They're the people that think it's easy that don't.
It's the same group of people who say shit like just add multiplayer. It's the same, like, you don't have an understanding here. That's one thing that I'm looking forward to, because I know Twitch are working on more stuff with that. Like there was a panel I attended where they talked a bit about how they're actively currently working on a tool to take your clips and convert them to TikTok, for example. So you can take your clips and they will handle the shifting it to a vertical format for you. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the tool that they come out with for that, because that is the nice part, is they acknowledge that and they're working on tooling to, I'm sure the companies have built up around doing that with the premium service. They're not going to be too thrilled when that comes out, but they are working on tooling to help with that, which is nice.
Yeah, and Brian brought up a good point of copying content around versus creating native content.
Yes.
That's never easy, and I am lazy. I'm just going to tell you all now. I use Combo, and I take clips that people have made or that I've made, and I use Combo to send it to YouTube, send it to TikTok, send it to Instagram. I'm getting 4 purposes out of one piece of content by click of a button. I'm not doing all that shit because I'm lazy.
Yeah. I doubt it will Pixel Peak, because I think they're talking about doing just clips specifically, so they will not have context of what video source was what. What I assume is you'll be able to identify which part of the screen is your camera, and they'll work through it that way, but I haven't seen the tool. They just said they were working on it, so that's just pure conjecture on my part.
Yeah, I mean, it's so. Well, and let's not get into sane or insane, because that's veering into ableism. But a lot of people do think it's easy, and I'm not disputing that. It's that I'm talking about finding what works for you and going with that and fuck what them other people say, because they can tell you it's easy all day long. They're not the one that has to find the time to do it. Fuck them people. Yep. And I will say that till I die. If I was talking, no, you're fine, Scriggle. We're trying to be better about language. And I think if you do exclamation ableism, it will give you a link. Like if I talked about painting minis and I'm talking to Pirate, and Pirate's been doing this way longer than me, and if I say, well, I'm struggling with this technique, and you're like, but that's fucking easy to you. That's where people need to add the to you. It's not easy for me, clearly, but to you, you've been doing it for years. And that's just an example because we're chatting right now. But at this point, just say fuck them people. They don't have to live your life. They don't have to pay your bills unless you're putting money in my pocket. And even then, I will give you your money back, because not all money's good money.
Nope.
So I don't know if the captions censored me or not. captions. Don't censor me. I think they did. Rude captions. Wow, it messed up the word captions. They said root options.
Wow. Yeah, like I was saying, didn't like the Ninja pivot because he has an entire staff to rebrand, deliver to multiple platforms, was able to appear to do it in under a week. And that's not even factoring in the amount of support he was certainly getting from which one was it? Mixer he moved to was the exclusive thing, whichever one it was. Like they were
YouTube.
absolutely YouTube, right? They were absolutely doing everything they could to offer him support that nobody else is getting because it was in their vested interest to have that be a success. So yeah, it's not. And that's the other aspect to it. Like we touched on this, I think, during some of the panels as well, as people don't really think about during the I want to be a content creator thing is you are becoming an entrepreneur at that point. You are becoming a small business owner. Your product is you, essentially, but you're still a small business owner. You have to do your own marketing. You have to do your own promotion. You have to do your own PR. You are creating the content. You're your own video editor. You're your own audio engineer. You're everything. It's a lot of hats that you have to wear, and they are not as small as the ones Steven wears, so they're a lot trickier to put on.
Yeah, and the other part too, Panda, is for all those people are telling you it's easy, go, here's my coffee, here's my PayPal. You want this to be easy? I need money. I need time and resources. And at this point, this is also why I stopped talking about a lot of shit publicly, because everyone has advice you didn't ask for. So fuck them people. And if they tell you it's easy, then it's like, then you do it for me if it's so easy. And I'll bet they'll stop.
Mm-hmm. It's like the people who do like, any artist knows it. Like where people do logos, digital art, physical, whatever it is. Like, oh, I paid you all this. I could have done that in 5 minutes. Go fucking do it in 5 minutes. Then you won't get the same quality because you ain't paying for the time. You're paying for the experience and the techniques and abilities I've built up over a decade of doing this. You're not paying for the time. You're paying for the knowledge.
Hey, wireless. Well, you're paying for the knowledge, but also, I mean, there's plenty of skills that I do not have that I'd like to get better at, but with what time to improve those skills,
Right.
I do not have that kind of time. Nope. None of us have that kind of time. People, what did Tuck say? Being a streamer is a second job, even if it is a hobby. Absolutely.
Yep.
I mean, they picked what they picked, but can we just talk about the whole having ambassadors host our panels? Because I'm mad about that shit still.
Yep.
I felt the laugh coming before I turned my head and saw it.
Yep. No, because I'm well aware of your feelings on this, and they're valid. What was done there was bullshit, frankly. So,
well, that and also, and this is me being harsh, and I don't care. Find people who know how to fucking run a panel if that's what you're gonna do. Not read slides literally word for word. Just a thought, because I was sitting there like, I'm embarrassed that this is the panel that is being streamed right now, and I'm not even going to hide it, because it was just like, wow, I'm not going to take over your panel. What did you do? You took over my fucking panel. Oh, all the panels where you had the same person in every room, those were Twitch ambassadors. They assigned to host panels. When most of them don't know how to fucking host a panel or run one or submit one. Yeah, I said it. I mean, you were not the submitter for panels, Pirate. So what, as someone forced into this and being on panels, what were your thoughts? And be honest,
because honest isn't the problem. It's because I was so. It's definitely hard to be objective because I was so close to the frustration you had during the whole process. So definitely a lot of belief in that. Like I can see where they were going with what they wanted to do. In that maybe people, because there are a couple of smaller panels, maybe because the community panels were just open to absolutely everybody. So I get where somebody who has maybe nobody on that panel has done a panel before, I could see where maybe having somebody who was experienced, we'll come back to that, would have been a benefit. But somebody like in your case, or in the case of several of the others that were run, this is somebody who has run not just panels, but this specific panel at numerous cons, numerous things. You're already a partner. You've worked directly with them. You're being used as an example in their creator camp slides. There's no logical reasoning as to why that. I think it should have been something that was provided as an option, or ask at panel submission, what experience do you have hosting panels, and use that to assess whether they needed to assign somebody to help run that. And if they did, ensure that the people who are hosting them were adequately trained and prepared. Because it's nothing like, or I know our feelings on this one might differ slightly, but it's not, in my mind, a failing on the part of the people who were hosting the panels, because I think they were set up to fail. Like, they were put in that position without training, without experience. Like, why, just based on the nature of being an ambassador, why would you put somebody in that situation when they've, I assume, never hosted or moderated panels before? Find people who actually have done that to put that in that role. Otherwise, you're just asking for the situation where they are kind of floundering, and the person who is an expert at that is on the panel getting frustrated. That's not a good experience for anyone. That's exactly what I'm saying, Pete. Like, yeah, they were like no training given, or if they were, it's probably just a quick, like, here's some bullet points, go have fun. It's I think Herb mentioned it earlier, hosting a panel is a specific skill set that's very different than being on it. Like, being a moderator for a panel is a dedicated skill set that you need to practice and learn. And so I think a lot of that stuff was, again, set up to fail, and doing that just blanket for everybody makes absolutely no sense. Like, it's clearly we don't want to invest the resources in assessing these panels and the people posting them, so we're just going to do the blanket thing for absolutely everybody. But that is just leading to imbalanced and inconsistent experiences, ironically, in a way.
Millum, we had to submit a full deck if we had one. Some people just had like a here's the panelists. And then in my case, I submitted decks for all the panels I was running. We had a draft due date and a final due date, which was like 2 weeks before the con. So
to your question too, Tuck, I don't know, but based on the fact that the ambassadors were by room, not by panel, I would assume they were told. I doubt they were given the opportunity to pick the panels. It was organized based on what the panelist schedule is, I'm sure. So I would be very, very shocked if they had the ability to pick the panels that they were running. I'm pretty sure it's like, you're in this room, these are your panels.
yeah, I mean, everybody was in the same room, and a lot of it was like, well, I didn't even have a chance to go eat or whatever. And it's like, give people a break, because I know Frank was talking about how he hadn't eaten, and our panel was at what, 1:30?
Yeah.
Same with Ash, where we had a later panel that she had not eaten all day, and someone had to bring her food.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it was good. I don't know. I have no idea where the creator camp panels are, if they were actually streamed, if anybody watched them, or if they didn't save the VOD, because I cannot find VODs for the creator camp panels at all. The only ones I can find are the ones Twitch staff did.
Yeah. Which is really frustrating, because there was some great content and great advice in those. I would love for those to be widely accessible.
Well, that means they didn't air anything creator camp. They may have recorded it, but it was not live streamed. Oh, good. If it's on there, great. And if not, well, that was something, because your partner now, what is something I wish we could have recorded. And if there is a recording, I'm going to ask for it, because so many people get partner and it's like, here's your check mark. Good luck. There's no follow up. There's no resources. There's no nothing. My not social media manager that's at the post office. trying to think what else. So that I think covers panels. The show floor was interesting. And yes, I'm going to yell about the fact that people were not wearing their mask. Nobody fucking enforced it. And in fact, Sunday morning we got hassled about using the elevator, being in the convention. And I'm just like, why are you not enforcing masks like this? Why? It was me, Pirate, and Mandy.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, well, where's your badge? If you can DM me or give it to a mod, Pete, that'd be great. Um, let's see what else. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, I've talked a lot. What about you, Pirate? Because it was your first TwitchCon, first time paneling.
Yep, a lot of
Ever.
firsts for me. First time at TwitchCon, first time ever paneling, first time in San Diego. Lots of firsts, and I spoke about it a bit on my channel on Thursday, but it was a phenomenally positive experience for me. I'm incredibly glad I went. I'm very thankful to you for inviting me along to do the panels, which is the only reason I went. Otherwise, I absolutely would not have gone. So, because again, still a pandemic, not going to necessarily travel a whole bunch unless there's a specific work-related reason to do so. So, very, very glad that happened. Yeah, no, it was a phenomenally positive experience for me. But as I've spoken about a bit, I know I've definitely seen a lot of the ranting about like, oh, TwitchCon was a mess, yada yada yada. My experience was as positive as it was because I have been very careful in curating the people I spend time with. And that was why it was well, like I spent most of the time with you, Lady Luck and Springleaf, and like that was great. You're all fantastic. I had a great time because I was, and the other people I met were usually people who knew one of the rest of you. So it's like, cool, there's an element of trust here. That's helpful. And spoke with a few other creators in line for various other panels, but it's like, okay, we're in like one. I met a few lovely people in the line for the affiliates to Twitch leadership thing. It's like, okay, but being in that, you're probably more likely to get, we're here for the same reason. There's an investment in growth. We want to learn. We want to have these conversations. So there's a higher ratio maybe of the quality of conversation you're going to have. Yeah, so stuff went wrong, but I overall had a great time because I was there for a specific reason, which was to learn and spend time with friends, and I absolutely got that out of it. I think it's true with most cons. I think with most cons, you get a lot. What you get out of them really depends on kind of what you're there for and what you're putting into it. So,
yeah. And how was the affiliate to Twitch leadership? Because that's something I'm so glad that they were doing, and that's not something they've done before.
I'm glad they did it. I definitely have some complaints about the way it was handled. So for context, so we're in it's a large room, and they had small round tables, each of which had about 5 to 6 affiliates and a member of Twitch staff. And on the main stage were a bunch of the Twitch execs. Like they had I don't think he's the whatever the CEO, like the director of Twitch, the
Emmett Shear,
like the cowboy hat wearing guy.
Yeah.
And a few other people, like the guy who was like kind of exec level on the engineering side, on the marketing side, on a whole bunch of some exec level people, and then they were up on the stage taking panel questions. And the way it was supposed to be split was about half of the time spent panel questions for the execs, and then the other half breaking into the smaller groups and having conversations with the member of Twitch staff who was at your table, so you can have those more kind of intimate, directed conversations. The way they handled it was because they kept getting a lot of panel questions, which involved a great deal of me sitting there with your voice ringing in my head going, find your question. They decided to extend that part out. So that cut further into the more individual conversations with the Twitch staff members that were at the table. So we lost a lot of time to that, which is the part I was really looking forward to personally. Like I would have been perfectly happy if it was nothing but the small table conversations. Really, that's what I was hoping for. It was billed as having conversations with Twitch leadership, which is what. So I assumed it was more those small combos. And then when they finally did break off into the small conversations, I felt so fucking bad for the Twitch staff member. I don't remember her name, who was at our table because she was very quiet and soft spoken, and was masked as she should have been. So she kind of did the introduction, and then one of the execs came and joined the table and completely took up like all of the air at it. So obviously most people at the table, their attention immediately shifted to him because like he's like the big exec person. Of course they want to talk to him over. I think she said she was in marketing. So I felt so because I could feel like I was sitting right next to her. I could just feel like her deflate as all of the energy pulled away from what she was there for to do, to focus on this other guy. So yeah, I and they did get a little bit of time. I managed to air some of my feedback regarding guest star about how I would like to have multiple sources be available for one person. So for art streams, you can have the face cam and the art cam. I talked about that a bit. That part was nice. Again, I felt real bad for the staff member who was at the table first, but I wish it had just been more of that, because a lot of the questions, some were really good questions, and that's kind of how I found out about the way that they're going to be leveraging clips more for discoverability. They talked a bit about how they're going to be kind of shifting away from the current category system and more to I forget what the name they used for it was, but they're going to use kind of more like subgroupings to where you can be in multiple of those at the same time. So for example, right now we're in just chatting. Like there's a whole bunch of different subgroups that could be in that, and you could assign, kind of similar to how the tag system is being used now. They're going to do something kind of similar to that kind of categorization. Where like art, obviously huge category, almost useless for discoverability because art contains right now basically everything that's creative. So more things like watercolor, digital, miniature painting, all that type of things. Like shelves, yes, that's one of the things that we're talking about. So yeah, the tag system that they have now is kind of their feeling out process for that. That's building the structure, and they're going to kind of capitalize on that going forward. So some of that stuff was incredibly useful. Or like the ability for creators to go through and add some kind of like comment or star on clips, like, yes, this clip accurately represents my channel. Because entirely reasonably, one of the reasons they don't currently want to just surface clips as discoverability is the creator doesn't have any control over what clips are created in their channel. So unless it's like restricted to just ones that you yourself have taken, which very few people do, your clips could be like, well, like you yourself, Cypher, you said at the beginning, like there's a lot of your early clips were of failing, and that's not the stuff you want out there representing your channel. So they definitely don't want to throw that type of stuff out there. So that type of stuff was good. But then there's a lot of like, okay, you've have like 5 minutes of rambling backstory that's wasted everyone's time to ask a question which essentially boils down to that you're mad about people who stream wearing bikinis. That's the entirety of your point, and you took 5 minutes to get to that. No one cares.
Oh no, you could not. Nope.
Mm-hmm. So I was not particularly thrilled that so much time was given to that. Wish it had been more of the individual questions, but again, that was a lot of negativity from me. Like I'm glad they did it. I'm really glad that they gave that opportunity for affiliates specifically to have that time with leadership. I just wish it had been more of the smaller, contained discussions as opposed to just another panel.
Yeah, I mean, there's always some dude who wants to stand there and be mad about, oh no, there's titties on Twitch. Have you been on the internet long? There's titties everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Not what I'm coming to Twitch for, but how about this stop being boring?
Yep.
I did not get to do a lot of like networking things. I did get to go to a diverse partner kind of meetup. So basically it was partners from any ethnicity, affinity group, aka basically the not cis straight white dudes that were partners had a gathering time. I didn't get to stay for the whole thing because it was before my last panel on Sunday. It was before my time at the Capcom booth. So it was nice. There was a lot of swag. And my bag was over 50 pounds when I came back, by the way. And it was nice, and I got to see a lot of people I otherwise would have missed. But the partner lounge was in Narnia. The San Diego Convention Center is not laid out well at all.
Yeah, and I don't hold that as a TwitchCon thing. That's just the San Diego Convention Center itself is not built for accessibility
At all. Um it was it like I actually was in pain a couple nights after a full day. I woke up the next day literally in pain. Um so yeah. People are weird, but it's also just they didn't it's like did you all think about the fact that people have panels to get to and literally walking 20 miles, not literally, but it felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yep.
And yes, we can acknowledge the whole ball pit thing and then we're going to move on because I'm sick of hearing about it. Also, I feel very bad for the person who did have the injuries, but also let's be real. The person who did that jumped off the fucking stage or the pillar or whatever it was and did a split onto a concrete floor. So we have to assign blame on both sides.
To Seven Dash's question, yeah. So I'll say one of the things I was surprised and very pleased to see on the show floor was I didn't expect there to be such a sizable charity representation. There was a big area of the various charities who incorporate Twitch streaming a lot into their fundraising efforts. Like Tiltify had the big walls of all the streamers who have raised with them. Stream to End MS had a presence there. Able Gamers had a presence there. Charity Water had a presence there. Like there's this whole section of just all the bunch of charities talking about how they have fundraised on the platform and encouraging people to do that with them. I expected to see a lot of marketing, a lot of like vendors being like, here's our product that you can purchase. I didn't expect to see such a sizable charity representation, and that was very pleasing to me.
Yeah, and there was a lot of stuff on there. There were booths, of course, where people were literally screaming. I'm surprised none of you could hear it when I was doing my charity stream because there was maybe 10 feet away a dude literally screaming into a mic for most of the day. How he had a voice on day 3, I don't know. He was doing like the carnival barker kind of come to our booth thing, and I'm like, dude, there's loud noises everywhere. I did not get to see much of the con. I'm missing Raja, who's at the Sega booth. I don't know if Raja's still here. I didn't get to go to the Tiltify booth more than once, and I didn't have time to go in and look for my name because I have no spatial reasoning. I would have been there all day looking for my name. Heard there was a fight at the Tiltify party. Can't confirm or deny. And yeah, I went to no parties. I don't know if you went to any Pixel. But was that Friday night where it's like, we're good here. We're not moving.
Yep. We found a fire pit. I was happy. I've missed fire pits. That was real nice.
Yeah, and the hotel we stayed at had all the outdoor tables have built-in fire pits mostly. It's like, well, we live here now.
Yep. This is just okay. People can come to us. That's okay.
I mean, they did. It was nice.
They absolutely did. Yeah. And I do want to address that the comment on that real quick because I've seen a lot of misinformation passed around that situation. That situation at the Tiltify party was a local who the Hard Rock staff recognized and let in. It is not somebody Tiltify vetted. It is not somebody who was there as part of TwitchCon. That was a local to San Diego who the Hard Rock Cafe fucked up and let in when he should not have been there. I've seen a lot of people trying to apply blame to Tiltify for that. That is not on them. That
Yeah.
is on the staff at Hard Rock who let in somebody they should not have.
Yeah, and someone in DJ's chat yesterday would not let it go, and it honestly annoyed me. They kept bringing up all the other things because DJ wasn't at TwitchCon, but they wanted to talk about TwitchCon real bad, and it's like he was not there. Why do you keep wanting to bring up TwitchCon?
Right.
And apparently somebody got licked, like their face got licked. I don't know.
That's the same situation, yeah.
Oh, okay, so that was the same party, but again, also a note of etiquette. If someone's not talking about a thing, maybe don't try to force the conversation. Because DJ wasn't there. What the fuck was he going to say about TwitchCon when he
Right.
didn't attend?
Yeah.
I was there and missed all of this shit. So even if you were there, doesn't mean you can talk about it. Or note, you may not want to fucking talk about it.
Yeah.
I wonder if Mandy is still at the post office or if she's still out and about, because apparently Susie has become a sloth while she was gone, as much as
Oh.
Kiris and Sonya have.
That's surprising because she's a ball of energy.
Yeah, she's like, "Where are you going? I'm going to sit next to you. You don't get to leave."
It's like you might not come back again. I'm staying here. I have to be with you at all times.
Yeah, I will ping Mandy and be like, "What you doing?" Still at the post office. Because I'm also I'm just really interested in what Mandy said, because her day job is marketing and getting back to our streaming as a hobby or career, and then I want to talk about the parasocial panel. That is her day job, is marketing.
Yeah.
And these people that literally just wanted a shortcut, no work. I'm just like, I want your marketing brain, please.
Right.
Because also she's just got great things to say about it, because this is her day job and she thinks about the stuff and helps people think about this as her everyday please pay me job. You get to see the long boy. Where is the long boy?
He is, I don't know if I can move. Yeah, he's just off camera because he's down. You can see like the tip of his bed in the corner right here. He's just a little bit off.
Aw, the long boy. I get to see him in December. Yay.
Yay.
But also, since I noticed you're wearing your Gunner jersey,
I am.
Let's talk about LA, and then we can get back to TwitchCon panels.
Yeah, that was a blast. First time ever going to LA as well. Original plan was to take the Amtrak up, but fun fact, right before he flew out to TwitchCon, learned that apparently the ground under the track between San Diego and LA has started to shift to where they've shut that part of the track down, so you can't do that anymore. So that's fun. So wound up renting a car to do the drive, which honestly I'm actually really glad it worked out that way. It would have sucked to get around once we get up there without a car, and that was a beautiful drive. Like, again, for context, I moved to the US years ago, and initially landed in Bakersfield, California, which is in the middle of a desert. So this trip, like San Diego, LA, this is the California I was promised. I was a little irritated to learn, oh, it actually did exist. Cool. I just was lied to. Cool. Great. Love that for me. But yeah, the trip up to LA was gorgeous. Beautiful scenery. I really want to go back and just go hiking. It's like, oh, there's actual like hills. This is and skyline isn't just skyscrapers. This is really nice. Yeah, did that. The first ever photo shoot was really, really fun to do. Like, I cannot sing Cameron's praises highly enough for how easy he was to work with. Just bringing out kind of I know, because obviously you were there doing like the behind the scenes stuff, like you had mentioned. Apparently, like I just had like lit up during the whole process. Like the excitement was there. It's like it felt amazing. And I'm somebody who I hate having photos taken of myself. It's the most awkward thing in the world for me. But didn't feel that during that shoot at all. So like Cameron is fantastic, phenomenal to work with, and I can't wait to get the edits back because holy shit, those photos are so good.
I think I now have more photos of you than anyone else on my phone.
I mean, you also got videos of me up a tree, which is
yes. And since Tuck is in the chat, do you want to explain the whole keeping you, Dimples, and Lonzo from dying, apparently.
Oh, more than don't forget that Fair was there as well, and several other of
Oh yeah, Fair.
members of the Roland D's 20s crew were there as
And
well.
Eugenio was
Yeah,
there.
Eugenio wasn't there for that part.
Oh, so he escaped the
'cause-
foolishness.
Yes. So a bunch of us got together to do brunch. It was one of those. The brunch has bottomless mimosas.
Oh,
And
no.
it was basically a whole bunch of Twitch streamers getting together to do that. It was like the cast of Roland D's 20s, myself, French Tuck, and Eugenio, DM Jersey Hands, and that Davey as well. So we took full advantage of the bottomless mimosas, with the exception of Tuck. And when we left the restaurant, Eugenio went home because he's smart. And the rest of us, because we were right there by Central Park, poor Tuck was then left corralling a group of very, very drunk streamers in Central Park, which did involve a lot of climbing trees. And we found a cult. That we stumbled across a cult too. That was
Explain.
Fun. The wrangled cats, aka I think wrangling the cats might have been a little easier. But yeah, there was people in all very similar kind of gray drab clothing, having some gathering. It was definitely a cult. It was I was like, "Ooh, which Central Park cult?" I didn't interact with them because I was busy being drunk up a tree. It was some other people who went over and interacted with them, and they came back and were like, "Yeah, they're definitely a cult."
And now I need to come back to New York.
Yes, you do.
I'm just imagining this, and since I still have to write my thing for Kids on Bikes, I'm torn between a haunted arcade, but now I kind of want to go a haunted park where the ghosts of these cultists are haunting you all, and people think you're drunk, but you're not drunk, you're possessed.
Yep. Oh, there's a lot of concept there. I like that.
Oh, we should do it. Vampires. It's a vampire cult.
Yes.
It's a vampire cult. And
Oh, you could do some stuff there with like vampires disguised as one of the Central Park LARP groups. Because that's a thing. They got their attention on our group, and we had to run away. We did have to run away from the cult. We made our we made our exit.
wait,
very very rapidly.
The cult was focused on you?
It's more that we got their attention.
Bye, Gil.
And
no, we're not making a cult.
No, we were running away from the cult.
So Pirate, Tuck, Lonzo, Fair, who else?
I don't remember the names. It's basically most of the cast of Roland D's 20s, like the Philly by Night crew that Dimples runs.
That they found a cult in Central Park.
No, this isn't Zero's cult. This is a bad cult. This is the bad kind of cult.
This isn't Cult of the Lamb.
No.
I'm just still like, you found an actual cult.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's Central Park. It's not difficult.
That concerns me. The fact you're like, there's nothing hard about finding a cult.
I mean, not in Central. No, I mean, no, not here. Certainly not in Central Park. No, that's.
There's a whole side to New York that I clearly don't know about.
Yeah, I was like, I live in DC. Same thing. Yeah, I mean, as I understand it, like the parks in LA, that's where the fun cults are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tuck, you probably do have the clearest memory as the only sober one there.
Just a cult, nothing to see here. Wow.
No.
Wow. Okay, then. So, note to self: does Nora N.K. Jemisin know any of this? Because you know she wrote a book about New York as a character.
Oh, I'm sure she does. She probably knows what cult it is. So we can probably describe it.
It's 11. I wonder if she's awake. I'm just gonna text her. Hey Nora,
Yep.
do you know about New York cults? And she's probably gonna go, what the fuck?
Central Park is big. Has a lake, has a castle. Probably some dude that calls himself a baron. I guarantee that. Yes, absolutely.
I'm texting her
Mhm.
about cults in Central Park. She's probably going to either call me back or go, what the entire fuck?
Okay.
What else? Because we, since you're wearing the Gunner jersey, the other thing we
Yes,
did, we visited the Gunner office.
we did, which was really cool and a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be.
All right, have good errands, Brian. Be safe. Central Park is big. It has a lake and a wait. Central Park has a castle.
To a certain, it's more of a keep than a castle, but yeah, there's definitely an older, and that actually weirdly is in the north part of the park, which tends to be a bit more on the quiet end because that's where all the sports complexes are. The southern end of Central Park is where the really weird shit happens. But because that's where like all the street performers are, it's by like the zoo, like you're getting closer to Times Square, and a lot of the weirdness bleeds out. But yeah, there's a nice lake with a fancy little like old medieval style castle keep structure. Yeah, Belvedere Castle.
Wow.
That's the name of it. Yes.
Wow, there's a whole keep in Central
Mm-hmm.
Park that I've somehow missed
You can go in
this.
there. It's fully open to the public.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, you actually get a really nice view from the top of it. You can look south and see most of the park. If it's a clear day, it's a gorgeous view from up there. It's not super high. It's like one story up, but still really nice.
Huh.
But yeah, the Gunner office trip was really nice. Like, again, very very quiet. Didn't realize they had like the office and the warehouse of the same building.
Oh, I'm sure Jason Carl saw about that because it was funny when New York by Night premiered. Somebody immediately goes, "It'd be nice if you had New Yorkers on there," and Jason's just like, "It's a good thing we have New Yorkers on there." It's like, wow, that way to assume things.
Right.
Well, I think because a lot of the cast now lives in LA, but there are people from New York. Because I think Jason may originally be from New York, Jason Carl. I don't think he was always in
Oh.
LA. I'm also just still waiting for Nora to see my text and go, what the fuck? Because I'll either get an immediate answer or she'll call me later and go, what are you smoking? I mean, I've been to New York many, many times and didn't know there was a castle. I've been to one where it's actually a museum, but it's like a long ride almost out of the city.
Hmm.
They've actually got they've got art of like a black knight because people are like, oh, there's no such thing as like black knights, like black as in a person, not black as
Right.
in evil. Um, wow, Mandy, what's a little friendly? Wow. Yes, the cloisters. That's what I was thinking about.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being a little cult curious. It's fine.
I'm slightly concerned. I just got an email from Uber reminding me about safety, and I'm like, I'm not in an Uber.
Okay.
I'm. Has there been a report of an Uber driver I've used being under the influence? Um. Wow. I think what else is there to talk about? I guess. Do you all have questions about TwitchCon? And also, again, be mindful, be respectful. Eugenio was like, I don't remember the story.
But again, he left before this part. Like he was there for brunch, and then he went home because he's smart.
I'm just letting him know you went home before the Central Park shenanigans.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
he showed up for brunch and left.
I mean, he probably. That's. I mean, Brian left for errands. Um, Brian left for errands, but he and I did do a 6-hour brunch once, and I basically got back to the convention and just sat still because I was like, we just had 6-hour brunch and it was bottomless. I think there was food consumed.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I need to download the panels onto my desktop or just open up my laptop and upload them to YouTube after I make thumbnail images. I'm still annoyed that our Creator Camp panels weren't streamed. I thought they were, and I thought they should have been. Because I feel like the things we talked about the Creator Camp panels are things people need to know, especially about the work, like your content and working with Twitch. All right, bye, Tug. Thanks for hanging out. It's good to see you. Hopefully, I'll get to see you when you're in the U.S. Because I don't know. Before I say this, let me make sure that Kelly's not lurking. Although I don't think Kelly knows how to lurk. I love her dearly, but she's not quiet.
Yeah, Kelly doesn't lurk. Kelly bursts in dramatically.
Well, I think I want to do a surprise trip to New York and just surprise Kelly since I couldn't see her when I was there last time.
Oh, okay.
And be like, hi. So now that I have PJ's number, I want to try to figure it out. Like,
yeah,
so PJ, and then bribe you to drive. Because I don't want to rent a car because I'm lazy and I hate driving.
That's totally fine. It's an absolute nightmare, and I do not blame you.
I mean, you didn't want to rent a car for LA, but we had to.
Yeah, that was nowhere near as bad as I expected it to be fair. But we also didn't really go into like central LA. We kind of skirted around it.
Vampire brunch? Who said vampire brunch?
Oh, I was just teasing Lady Luck over a typo.
Oh no. I mean,
Right.
brunch. Wow. Wow.
I'm safely far away now. I'm more safe now.
For now, I'll still see
For now,
you.
that's true.
I'll still see you in December.
Yeah, that's true.
How many times I have to remind you that you had to sleep in the same room with me?
Several.
And I did. As you can see, I did not murder pirate. We survived being roommates.
Buddy.
Oh, is there a puppy?
There is a pupper. Buddy.
Aw. Hi, Kiros.
Buddy. Good boy.
Aw.
Come to say hi.
Is he sleepy?
He is. I mean, he's always sleepy. That's his job.
Oh, he's like, what you doing? Did he get his walk already today?
He did.
Hi, Kiros. Going. Can he hear us or no?
No, you're in my earbuds. Because otherwise you would echo through the mic. So
what's he doing? Oh, I see the tail going.
Yeah, he's like, okay, what's going? Oh, you gave me attention. Okay. Good boy.
Aw. Hey, Panther. Aw, has he got treats today? Or are you saving those for later? Because you're going to stream later today, yeah?
I'm going to stream later, yes.
Oh, I see the attention. I see the attention.
Yeah. The focus. It's intent. There you go.
He's like, thanks, goodbye.
He's got his biscuit. He's gone back to bed. He's like, yeah.
He's like, okay, I've gotten my attention and my treat. I've tricked you for the morning.
Mm-hmm. You'd be able to still see his head. It's behind the little painting pirate thing down here. So he's hidden behind my name label.
Yeah, I'm still annoyed that even though there's a name label for me in guest star, it does not show up. Oh, there we go. I can get rid of the setup guest star like I've never used it before.
Oh, nice.
The guest star spot below the video. What do you mean? Oh, that's PubNub. I added captions. I added the captions because I realized they weren't going to be natively displayed otherwise. So yeah, what else? So how was getting home? Because my trip was a thing. Eugenio says hi.
Hi, Eugenio. Kiros is right back again. He's like, more treats. More treats. So getting back was weird. I was surprised. I was really shocked by how laid back the San Diego airport is. I'm gonna give him another biscuit. There you go. Good boy. So yeah, I was running late because we did the Gunner visit the same day we both flew back. So And I seriously underestimated how far away the rental car place is from the rental car place is in the airport, but you have to take a whole shuttle bus to get there. And I swear that damn thing's in another zip code. Because my thought was like, okay, cool, drop off, run over to the airport, it'll take like 5 minutes, I'll be good. Nope. Nope. That was at least a 15-minute shuttle ride to get there. So I was dropping my bag off less than an hour before boarding started. So I was like, shit, they're going to have a whole issue with me. They're going to not let me check my bag. It's going to be a whole problem. So I was like rushing in, kind of like push through, get the, like, went the line, like, no, you have to go back to use the machine to print off your bag tag first. Like, shit, okay, go back, do that. There's now 2 people ahead of me in line, get through. So I'm flustered, like, gotta get through this. Don't want to be late. This is going to suck. And again, like, so it's like 50 minutes before before boarding starts now, and the person at the counter was like, oh, you're going JFK? You've got plenty of time. Don't worry about it. It's good. Like, excuse me, what? Like, if I was less than an hour before boarding starts at one of the airports here, they would shame me so hard I'd zoom back to my apartment immediately. Like, the glare alone would turn me into dust.
Oh, no.
It was like, fine, just get, okay, it's like, this is weirdly laid back, but okay. Just breeze through security. Thank you, TSA pre-check. And best $85 I've ever spent. And just, got through that. So, okay, this is fine. I've actually now got spare time. This is unexpected. Okay, this is chill. Cool. Everything's laid back. That was nice and easy. Very glad I paid the extra upgrade for the exit row seat. I could stretch out. That was real nice. And then the moment I landed back in JFK, holy shit, I could feel my stress levels just spike way back up.
Oh, really?
It was not good. It was not good. Because I get back, so I got back at like 11:30. So okay, this is, the stress levels were through the roof. Like I started to adjust to the super laid back atmosphere that San Diego has, which is probably in large part attributed to the entire time we were there. I could smell the lingering scent of weed underneath absolutely everything and everywhere we went. Probably has a lot to do with that. Got back, it's just stress levels shot back through the roof. The pickup area out, for those who have flown through JFK, the pickup area outside is an absolute nightmare. Okay, it's going to take me an hour and a half to get back via public transit, so let's pay the $80 for an Uber for the half-hour ride back home. Got that done, got back, and then just got swarmed by Kiros and Sonya the moment I got in. They were like, yes, thump, tackle. And they've been glued to me ever since. But yeah, the trip back was nice, but yeah, wow, I was not prepared for how badly my stress levels were going to spike the moment I landed back. And again, I love living in New York. I've been very, very happy here for 7 years, but holy shit. Being gone, I didn't realize just how high my base level of stress has become. It's like, oh, that's different. That wasn't there for a bit. I'm not used to that anymore.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my flight landed an hour late and they didn't tell us anything. Because my flight should have landed the same time, 11:30. We landed at 12:40 a.m. and Midway Airport, I swear, is at the ass end of everything. I was in B terminal, and they've actually worked on the airport, so it wasn't like the mile-long walk to baggage claim. But we were there for a half hour because they told us which baggage carousel, no bags. And then they were like, oh, by the way, we moved your bags. And I'm like, motherfucker. At that point, I was barely standing on my feet. I was like, I just want to get home. That's all I want. I didn't walk in the door until 2:30 a.m. And I was like, unless something's burning down, no one fucking talk to me. And bless the Uber driver. He was nice enough to help me bring my bag in.
Oh, that's good.
Because I don't know, like my knees and back were just like, fuck you. That's just all we were at. They were like, fuck and you. We're done here.
Yep.
I'm amused because we're talking about running around and Mandy is looking for a zipper somewhere. She said she will join because like I said, I want her insights, and we have not talked about the parasocial panel at all. But before we do that, do you need or want a break? Because we've been on a little over an hour and a half.
Yeah, I could use some fresh water. So Let's
All right.
take a break.
I have some random package arriving today. I have no idea what it is. It's coming in the mail. So I'm gonna stop the BRB, turn the music back up, and just meet yourself in guest star, and we'll be back soon. Hi, Kelly. I see you. All right, I have unmuted you. Let me turn down the music and everyone can hear us. Hello. We might get a Mandy.
Oh, yay.
She has found her zipper.
Huzzah.
Refresh, Kelly. It should let you. Hello, how are you? I'm going to switch to the 3-person, so you're going to get a little behind the scenes hangout. Huzzah. So Pirate, guest 1. Move you here. Move myself here and make it smaller. There we go. Move it so we can actually see your nameplate. My only thing I don't particularly like about the 3-person layout, you have to really crop people. What did I mess up? Oh, I messed up the other one. I didn't lock that one, so it's still moving around. Oh, and there go your captions. They were just moved. There we go. All right, so now we're ready for Mandy whenever she's here. Oh no, do you have
Excellent.
Do you have a Kyros?
I do. He's popped around onto the other side now, so he's behind the mic. And yeah, Kiros loved that beanbag, so he will be very, very pleased.
I have managed to scratch my face and I'm bleeding, so I'm going to leave you here, and you all can chat, and I'll BRB.
Oh no, yeah, sorry, Kelly. No, we're using guest star, so unfortunately, no Discord voice, which is sad. No random comments, but hi, hello. Hope the recovery is going well. You don't want to. I mean, that's entirely fair. That is entirely. That's what I should do for these. Sometimes is have a separate camera output that's just some random still of like here's a photo that actually looks okay, or just some random weirdness. That is one aspect of guest star that could potentially be done a little better. Is some way for people who want to be on voice but not on camera. I don't know how well it really handles that right now.
What handles what?
Oh, having people on the voice but not on camera.
I don't know.
Because Kelly was just saying she tried to like see if we were in Discord so she could pop on too. But it's like not really. You can't with the just chatting, but doesn't want to use like camera, so couldn't really be brought
on. There is audio only, so we could actually try this. So we could try request. Only certain Twitch users. Kelly subscribed. Oh, it's audio only mode is not available yet.
Okay.
So unfortunately, we can't do audio only. It would still show a window, but we just wouldn't hear you. I mean, we just wouldn't see you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I grabbed popcorn, but forgot to actually eat it while we were on break. So good job, me. But yeah, the parasocial panel.
Yes.
I have many thoughts about it, but what do you think?
I thought it went well. I'm sad Dr. B wasn't able to join us, but totally understandable why.
Yeah.
I was very, very grateful for his notes.
Poor Dr. B woke up with a with laryngitis, even though he literally saw us the day before.
Yeah. Which that was my first time ever getting to speak with him at all, so that was nice. I'd never met him before, so that was fun. But yeah, no, of the panels we did, that was the one I've definitely gotten the most positive feedback about. Not that I didn't get positive feedback about the other one too, but people seem to really, really like that one. which I'm not surprised by based on how well received the one you had done previously was.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it kind of comes down to, it was one of those where that, what we talked about a little bit, it's like sometimes like we can't tell you how to process the stuff within your brain. Like a lot of this stuff is something that's between you and the therapist, candidly. Like you have to learn how to set these boundaries. And if that's something you struggle with people in your personal life as well as via streaming, that's something you have to work on and only you can work on. We are not your therapists. We cannot help you with that. We can give you advice and some best practices that work for us, but your individual situation is your individual situation. And yeah, kind of that's what Panda was alluding to, but very much liked that you threw in the aspect of creator to creator parasocial relationships as well, not just audience to creator.
Yeah.
That definitely does not get discussed near enough.
It doesn't, and I wish people did.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
No, you're good.
Well, that's why I started it with that, because a lot of people... Oh, it helps when I say two guests. Ah. Good job, me. I didn't change it in guest star, so she would have just been there.
Like just hanging out.
Yep. Good job, me. Good job. But a lot of people don't, they focus so much on the creator, the audience to creator aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what is Kiros doing?
Kiros is headbutting my arm, demanding attention, so I'm going to just throw a toy for him. See if that...
Is that a shark with a pirate hat?
Of course it is. It's a red shark with a pirate hat because I have branding.
Yes.
He'll take that to his bed for a little bit. May not have thought that through.
Whoops.
I did this through.
Whoops.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, that squeaks, doesn't it? Oops.
Yeah, it does. Hi, Mandy.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
All right, let me move you so people can see you. There we go.
I'm real.
Yes. Also, if you have a PubNub link that I can grab for captions.
I have done this before. Please hold.
Yes. Your quest for a zipper worked out?
I mean, I got one. I don't love it.
Oh, no.
Nobody. So for those of you that don't know, I do crafty things as shown by my sewing machine right here. And I'm working on a jacket, and I needed a very specific length that apparently nobody has in the color I want, which is a very specific pink.
Oh my God, Mandy, only you.
Oh, I'm like, that's a whole separate story because that jacket was never intended to have the pink. That was my, oh no, something I ordered came in this color and I don't have enough time to order more. So I just have to go buy a fabric that will work with it just so I can get through this construction. So fun times. I forget what I was doing. I was giving you a link.
Yes. And we were just talking about the parasocial panel, so.
Oh, yes. I had a lot of fun with some of those being in the audience where I'm like, I don't have to deal with this.
Oh, no. I've talked a lot. You all go for it because I'm also just waiting for Mandy's link, so. Because I'm smart. I mean, I have a lot to say about parasocial relationships, but I think I also got my inner snark jumped outside during that panel.
I mean, nothing inherently wrong with that. It was justified. There were reasons.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Again, like I said, especially with the creator to creator aspect of it, which does not get talked about near enough.
How do you want this? You want it
Send me a DM, and I'll add it to the stream.
Okay, there we go.
I do enjoy that the captions just interpreted that as "send me a damn attitude stream," which also feels incredibly appropriate for you.
Wow. Wow.
I think this is what you need.
It is. Thank you.
Perfect.
All right,
Okay,
you all
great.
chat while I add this link.
Amuse ourselves. Oh yeah, so for everybody who doesn't know, I was running errands, so I was lurking in chat, and like I legitimately had my like little Bluetooth headset so that like when I was in the car, I could just have you all through the car and listening, and then when I would get to wherever I was going, I'd turn the car off, put the headset in, switch over to that, and then be walking around and
Oh, can
yes.
you change it to bold white because yellow is getting lost on the overlay?
Yes, let me see if this works better for you. But yeah, so, and I was thinking about it too. I think I have a couple clips. I don't do it as often, but there's a couple clips across a few different channels. I think Pirate, It's Been You once, Panda once, maybe Zero once, where the captions just are off the wall. And I'm like, yep, I'm clipping that just because it amuses me.
That's entirely valid.
That's like 90% of my clips. Like, I'm amused, therefore I will clip this. And sometimes I feel like people are like, I don't get why you're giving me this clip. And I'm like, well, I was amused, so you just get it now. But yes, I'm sorry. We've been talking, you all have gone through like a whole range of TwitchCon things. And the whole time I'm like, yes, this or that, as I'm driving around trying to complete my errands.
Mm-hmm. So from the, because obviously we were both on the panel, from the audience perspective, what was your take on the parasocial relationships panel?
Oh yeah, I think it was good. Obviously, you all had a lot of really important conversations and looking at it from every angle. As mentioned, like creator to audience, creator to creator, audience to creator. And then you also, I think what I appreciated was the talking about it as it extends beyond just actually being live on Twitch and in chat, but to all of the other touch points as kind of the conversation earlier about diversifying your content and where you're at and all of that. It's like, oh, well, there's like that where parasocial relationship extends so much further. So it was like really encouraging to have you all cover sort of that full width of what this is. And my general feel, both from kind of just the people there in the audience and then on social and stuff, is people being like, oh no, actually, this is really important. We're so glad somebody's talking about it. Because as you all mentioned earlier, there's a lot of aspects to being a content creator, regardless of where you're at, like what platform or how you do it. There's just as relevant aspects, like when I was podcasting as well, that people just don't think about. And then they get surprised when they have to deal with it. And then they don't know how to deal with it. And so like multiple people being like, yeah, you know what? This should be like a regular thing. This should be required viewing for, people who are, streaming for the first time or what have you. So well done. I was also just very amused, like lots of fun little things that popped up during that one. So as fun little things that I know, because obviously I've overlapped into your all's communities. And
you're like, yes, I know this exact situation you're alluding to. Kat.
Yeah. Or like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about here. I remember this. Not that we obviously want to like spotlight things that didn't go smoothly, but that's the reality, is that those are things you're going to have to deal with. So it's also just interesting, and Cypher knows this a lot from my perspective, which is that I've been doing this for about 15 years now. Like, being in the gaming space and a variety of different types of content creation. So it's also really intriguing for me when I attend events more as an attendee than as press or like working it, even though I did, the one panel, because it's a totally different perspective than when you're there working. And I like being lazy where I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to sit here and live tweet.
Yes, for those that didn't know, Mandy was my not social media manager over that weekend.
Kudos to any of you if you figured out that it was me behind Cypher's account during those panel live tweets.
Yeah, I like how you're saying that you were attending this one and not working when you were doing this. Like that was a bit that stopped being a bit very quickly.
Yeah, but like it's amusing for me. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It went like it was a bit for the first panel, and then after that, it was like, no, this is basically like you. So the thing is like, and this comes up a lot. That context here. My day job involves marketing, and specifically marketing in the game and like entertainment space. So I'm very particular about what I choose to do in my off hours because that is my day job. So for this, it's like I would not necessarily oftentimes do this as much for myself or more regularly, out of work, but it's entertaining for me to do on like Cypher's account for one weekend only. And I think it worked out too, because I think it came up as like, we're the creator camp, like your partner now what? Great conversation. I wish that had been streamed, but now I'm like, oh, I'm glad I live tweeted that because at least there is something there. And like, snafus with typos aside, snafus where I missed like one of the clips of the slide or taking a pic of one of the slides, but I added it at the end. Is like I'm glad for that content because all of that's important to share with people. But yeah, it's like you're right. Like I think Pirate took it like the end of Sunday where I was doing I was snapping pictures for Cypher and Pirate's like picture.
Yep.
Social media manager being with social media.
I have a great little video of inside that like little Street Fighter 6 streaming booth of you like with the camera just trying to position Cypher for the right shots. Like
Cypher just sitting here like, yep, we were your entourage for the weekend.
Yep. That's it. That reminds me, because I couldn't send the video because it wasn't on Wi-Fi at the time. I had to send you that video now.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, it was great. Y'all don't know. Like she would show up early and she'd be like, I'm on this panel, and we'd be like, we're with her to get in before they were letting people in.
Yep. Took full advantage.
I didn't realize I had an entourage.
It was just us.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, I'm glad that was like, it started as a bit because we were joking about, what was it that I made a joke about the parasocial relationships panel? Is that what started
I don't even
it?
remember. It was definitely, the parasocial relationships was the one where because obviously you went live tweeting the hobby career because, you were.
I was on that.
So. But yeah, definitely the parasocial was the first one that you started.
Yeah, and that was like something happened or we said something and that's how the joke started. And so I was going to do it. And then like we got to the second one. I was like, just give me your phone.
Yeah.
And then I kept reaching for my phone. I'm like, shit.
Oh, and my favorite too was like, was me just like ignoring everything because obviously so many people you knew were at TwitchCon as well. Me being like, nope. Mm-hmm. I'm just here tweeting. Anybody who's trying to contact you cannot reach you right now. You are on a panel.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the amount of times we were in there in the audience, you're like, here, hold my coffee. I gotta take a photo of this slide.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm carrying like 15 things because I'm not, jokes aside, was like juggling things. And then of course I like had a coffee. So I'd literally be like, hold this and just turn it and hand it to him.
Yeah.
So I could like lift up, snap a picture because I needed to do something that required two hands. So I was live tweeting most of that with like one hand. And then it'd be like, thanks. And 5 minutes later, hold this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, this is hilarious. Although speaking of pirate and holding things. Oh God, can I reach it? I can. I now have the Assassin's Creed whiskey.
Yes, the Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
Also, I was an entire asshole today because someone saw my tweet and quote tweeted about the mislabeling and lies of the whiskey industry. And I was like, you couldn't find anything else to tweet this about?
Wow.
You had to pick this?
And they were like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. How about you just fucking don't? Or you see this. Here it is. Oh, wait. I think they deleted their quote tweet, but I already got screenshots of it. They deleted their quote tweet. Good. Or maybe they went tweet because I don't follow them, so they had to quote tweet it. But I'm like, wow. that's a thing you did.
Mm-hmm.
People be weird. People be people is really what that
Yes.
is.
Yeah, because I was like, did you have to do this on my fucking tweet? But I think my reply is gone, so it looks like they deleted their quote tweet. The screenshots are forever. But also back to the parasocial panel before we get too sidetracked. Because there were also people who came up to us after the panel, and there was someone who's like, "Are there ever people you can't stand?" And I'm like, "Yes." Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Mm-hmm.
And
well, I think this circles back to what you all were talking about a little bit earlier, which is like creating that barrier and understanding like what your goal is here, which is that if your goal is to build the platform as a career, you're not going to like everybody that shows up in your audience.
Nope.
But it becomes the question of like, are they crossing a boundary, which means it's time to show them the door? Or are they just like somebody you don't click with, which there's a lot of people I don't click with. That I just like stylistically, I'm like, you're not a bad person. There's not, we just are not on, you know, the bandwidth in a way that I'm like, yeah, I want to hang out with you. And yeah, there were, to your all's point, like one of the things that was I feel like a common theme across all the panels with questions was definitely a lot of people asking questions that were about giving them permission to do stuff rather than them just committing. What felt like a lot of people trying to get an easy answer to like shortcuts, or like, you know, how do I just bypass all of the things that I have to do to get to the X point? And I think Dr. B brought it up on the first panel, streaming as a hobby or career, but I want to say it was in his notes and you mentioned it, Pirate, on the parasocial one, which is like the why. Like I think about it in one of that panel we did on hobby or career, I just remember somebody when they were asking their question, also giving their backstory, our least favorite thing, and mentioning that like, oh, this is my dream. And I wanted to be like, why is this your dream? What about this is a dream to you? And like, it's not to say it can't be, but I feel like a lot of people want to be kind of like this internet famous, or they think they're just going to play games all day and that's going to be cool. And I'm like, you don't know how this works. And yeah, so it was interesting, the variety of people that felt very new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which is also kind of encouraging, I think, because I that is in a different way is very encouraging, because it's good to see people who are clearly very new to it, and honestly, by seeking out those panels and discussions, they're a mile ahead, honestly, for a lot of other people. Like that reflects very well that they're conscious enough to realize that there's a lot of stuff that they don't know. So like that is definitely a positive thing. To a certain extent, it's the case of how do you then react to that? Like, yeah, it can be frustrating. Be like, okay, yeah, we told, nope, there is no shortcut, there is no easy answer, there is no instant win button for this. You gotta graft, you gotta do the grind, it's going to be a slow and it's going to be a very, very painful process in a lot of ways. And if that, I hear it said a lot. I think there's an awful lot of parallels between theater and this type of content creation, because like I said on the hobby career one, that's why I got into this. I missed performing, I missed being on stage, I missed having an audience, so that's kind of one of the reasons I started doing this, and it helped. That skill set has helped me out really well. But a lot of people in theater, and I know that if she's still around, the Opera Geek probably has absolutely heard this said as well, that for performing as a career, it's one of those things where the advice is given is, if you think you're going to be happy doing literally anything else, do the literally anything else, because the odds of success in this are extraordinarily low, and it's going to break your heart over and over and over again. So if this is not the thing that you are so passionate about, is you genuinely cannot see yourself being happy doing anything else, you're gonna set yourself up for an awful lot of heartbreak. And I think this is the same type of thing. Like if hearing that this is going to be difficult and heartbreaking and hard and soul crushing in a lot of ways, there's a lot of positives to it as well. but I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat the downside. And if that sounds too difficult for you, then you're probably better off not doing it.
Yeah, hey Chanel, thank you for your resub. How are you?
No.
Where are I do not have my alerts. I do have my alerts. Yay. I just realized alerts are not on the scene. Good job, me.
Ooh.
Cause I'm smart.
I mean, technology, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Why did my specs command come up? That's weird.
New timer. Who dis?
Well, that's on the Streamlabs spot. I didn't think I had that on a timer. But keep
Oh,
chatting.
I don't mess with Streamlabs bot.
Oh, it's my AMD timer, which I need to edit because I have a different processor. Because my friend helped me upgrade my processor.
Ooh, upgrades.
Which I was on the notes of like streaming and difficulties with it. This is not necessarily related, but a thing that just popped into my head regarding updating things. A bit of personal advice from me, PaintingPirate, to absolutely anybody out there who streams. Whenever you do video or image edits, please, dear God, don't be like me and make sure you save the base like PSD or project. Save your project files, not just the output, because the amount of time I lost yesterday because it hit me that my little cutesy video of the Steven emote pop up going, it's so pretty, still had his old username on it.
Oh no!
But you didn't have the source file, so you couldn't.
I didn't have the source files, so I had to redo the entire damn thing from scratch.
I am that person now. Okay, so minor backstory is that I spent a couple years studying graphic design, and let me tell you, the like external hard drives I have full of like version 1, version 2, dated, like a million different like PSD source files, because I'm like, oh no, we're not doing this, or learning or like making sure that I keep everything in separate layers and I don't merge them down.
Yep. Just one of the things like, it's fine, it's done. I'm never going to need to touch this again. Did not think
Lies.
even changing his username. Like, it's like, no, you will never regret keeping those, I promise.
Yes. But yeah, I feel like y'all covered a lot of the stuff that popped out to me TwitchCon related, in terms of like, I wish the mask policy had been enforced. Like, I think my experience overall was good, but I think, I can't remember if it was you all or somebody else who talked about, if Steven maybe, who has memory right now, about like curating your space. Actually, no, this was you, Pirate, on your stream, and Steven was commenting
like me, yeah.
Steven was commenting in chat, is what I'm remembering.
That's what it was.
About like pre-curating, which like part of the experience for us was who we were there to interact with, in terms of like, it was us. And I think, you know, it circles back to like, who are you? What community do you want? How are you laying boundaries? What have you? Because I do think that sort of nets out. So again, you know, there were things that were frustrating. I wish they had a little bit more organization in that upfront when you were coming in, and as mentioned about like being able to, you know, access the elevator and things like that. I wish that they'd had a speaker specific entrance rather than you being kind of just merged in with everyone. But overall, it was enjoyable. And like, there's little things like, hey y'all, you really should have put the schedule live on the app more than like the day before. That would have been really nice, so that I could have better planned out what I was going to do and coordinating with people. But like, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing the panel. I hope in the future to do more panels, as I think, Cypher, as you mentioned very early in the stream, I was actually thinking through, because I had rewatched the Streaming as Hobby or Career, to your point about watching your content. Not that that's the same, but like keeping that in mind and being like, oh, there's points here that maybe I didn't speak to as well as I wish I had, or that would it have been appropriate to kind of build out in a panel scenario, unless like that was the singular topic that I'd really like to dig into, which is like talking about organizing and optimizing what you do and how you do it. because there's certainly additional thoughts I have there. And I'm like, I'm just going to start making a list. And then these will be topics I'll chat about either in a just chatting or what is now like craft and chats for me. Because I think like that's the one thing that I'm hoping people that attended like took away from is like, oh, these are starting points. These are helping to give you some more context to your experience that you can then turn around and take away. So I do like that, but I fear that the event structure just means that people are like, this is the be all end all. And you're like, no, this is just the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a concern for the panel I was on about leveling up your content, because that was run by Twitch staff in the creator camps. That one may be on VOD. I'm not sure.
Was that the one with
Sergio?
That was the programming. So like the programming with Deer and
Excuse me, and Momo.
Yes, yeah. I haven't seen that one. I saw if it was in Give Please or Nom Nom. I've been able to find it, but if it was the Creator Camp Theater, those ones I haven't been able to find.
Yeah, I'm looking at the God, that one was at 3 o'clock.
What is time?
I don't know. How to launch?
I had to go back and I had to go back and save the first tweets in each of the tweet threads where I'm like, I need to pull these links so that I can easily reference them when people are like, oh, what are you talking about at TwitchCon? I'm like, okay, if you can't find the video, here's the tweet thread.
There you go. That is the one I was thinking of. Because our concern with that
Yes.
one was people thinking that they would walk away with an easy way to get Twitch to fund their projects. And it's not easy. It takes time. And you need to bring your A game. And that sounds like very businessy and hokey, but Twitch isn't just going to hand you money because you have an idea. And there are parameters we have to meet, like for Into the Motherlands and other stuff. I can't just go, give money, please. You have to have a unique idea. You have to be able to articulate it and execute it. Because a lot of people think that they can just show up with an idea and nothing behind it and expect money. And that's where it's fucked up.
I, for one, am shocked that making a business proposal sounds businessy. Who would ever have thought that that would be a reasonable thing?
Okay, this is... You have to see me sitting here like I want to
excited dance you just had. That's amazing.
And this is like it sounds, and I realized this too when I was talking about it, where I was like, or when I mentioned a couple times about like career and planning and businessy things, but ultimately it circles back to that, like, you are an entrepreneur, you are running a small business. It has this fun wrapping of you're making content and it's fun, but the net of it is you need to build a significant number of unique material skills to do this well across a variety of different categories, I guess. It's like you need to be able to market, you need to be able to pitch, you need to build your branding. Like, there's so many things to that. And it makes me think of what you all were talking about earlier with like video games and like, oh, just add multiplayer. Like, you all know what I do in my day job, to the two here on stream. And this is a common thing where people are like, well, I have an idea. And I'm like, everybody has ideas. I have ideas. It's, do you have the foundation to turn that from idea to execution? And is that execution viable? I think I came up with somebody being like, oh, I want to do all these things, but I can't make it happen. It was one of the questions we got, I think, in the first one. And in the hobby or career panel, Pirate, I think you answered and I jumped in. And it's like priority, focus, and scale. Welcome to running any business. Yeah. Like, and I think that was, again, one of the other like common themes where it's like people are just thinking about this. It felt like, let me contextualize. It felt to me, the impression I got from so many people was, oh, this is fun. And if I just do it, I'll be successful and I'll make money and it'll be cool. And on my end, I'm going like, no, this is a business. You need to plan for it. You need to have priority, focus, and scale. You need to be able to sit down and say, what skills do I need to develop to do the things I want to accomplish? Bronze Girl spoke to it really well in the Your Partner Now What panel of like, what did you want partner for? What was that meant to accomplish for you in your content journey so that that's what you're chasing after? And I think that that's a good question to ask yourself, the why, and then once you say, this is what I want and why, what and why, then you can follow with the how. How am I going to get there? And these are the things the skills I need to build to do that. And that's kind of like, it sounds not fun, but welcome to having a career. Welcome to doing anything. You need to plan and have focus and then figure out what you need to do to scale that to where you want to be. And that was like a common, like y'all kept getting those questions and I'm just like, just treat it like it's what it actually is, which is a job. Me raging in the audience as I'm live tweeting and not like trying to do all caps the whole time.
It's like we had that one question that came up during the Q&A portion of the hobby career one. That one person who said they were trying to balance school and streaming and like how do they prioritize. I told them, if you're in school, you've got a great advantage, which is if you find a business management course you can take as part of that, take that. It will help you, I promise.
Oh my God. Public speaking, presentation, business management, financials. There is both like personal accounting and managerial accounting, which probably personal accounting is more important, but managerial will lead you into kind of like business oversight. I'm sorry, my background's in marketing, which is typically falls under business school. So if anybody ever wants to chat about this, I am happy to talk to you about these things, or maybe make this into like, give me a list of questions and I'll work through them on a stream. But yeah. And that's the thing where it's like, it's cool, but it's like anything, you should always have a fallback. The same way that they talk about having fallbacks in your content, like what is your buffer? What is the stuff that that you do when you're having a bad day, but you still want to do your stream or what have you? Like what's your comfort games, your comfort content? In the same way, you should think through like, not say have 5 jobs. Looks at myself. I've had unintentionally done it to myself. In fairness, I've done this to myself. But knowing what you're going to do, and it's like, it's cool. But like, I look at school, I paid for college between scholarships and myself. And I was like, oh God, why would you not prioritize school? Because that's expensive. Like, whew.
On that note, by the way, for those who hadn't seen it yet, the form for student loan forgiveness is up. You should go check that out. That's live now.
The loan for, yeah. And I think it's through end of year that you can submit. So please go do the thing.
Yes. Get you that money. But yes, it's vital. It's important. And again, I'll throw into that one too. Your list improv classes. I think everyone can benefit from taking an improv class. And I'm not just saying this in the streaming space too. I'm saying it's like the business space. If you ever have to give a presentation, you will benefit from skills you can learn from an. I'm not saying you have to be one of those, like it's a group of the same 5 beardy white dudes going, hey, come check out our improv show. But just like a couple of hour improv class, some of the skills you'll pick up from that can be so beneficial anytime you have to present to a group of people.
It's on my list of things to do, but then like COVID happened. But like it's one thing I can point to is that I podcasted for 6 years, and podcasting, the style for the show I was on, Gamertag Radio, is conversational. We'd show up and be like, here's 5 things we want to talk about. Let's fill an hour. And while it's not one-to-one, I think that was actually most beneficial to me, because then it was like, yeah, I can just off the cuff, let's go. And that's helped me in my day job. But yes, and I do want to point out, because this popped up in chat from Panda and Brian and a couple others, is this whole idea of like, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. No, it's freaking hard, y'all. Like, it's hard. And then when it overlaps, so as I've spoken to here, but I also put it in my tweets this morning, is like my day job's in marketing. So actually it's really hard for me to do stuff for my content, because I'm like, I already worked a full day. I don't need to do this more. And I like intentionally choose not to do things, but I also am not trying to make a career out of it. So take all of that with a grain of salt. I'm deliberate. And this is the thing when we talk about like diversifying content or anything else. is that like you should be intentional in where you put your time and effort. You should be deliberate about how you're using the channels that come to you, that you're going to use. And in my case, I deliberately don't do things because I want it to be fun for me rather than a job, because there's so much overlap with my day job. And I enjoy both, but I don't want my fun stuff to feel like work as much as I can. Sometimes you can't get around that. So
yeah, that was a point that I was real happy that Milady Confetti brought up on that panel. Like, there's stuff that she will not stream because that's for nope, that's hers. That's like, was it like the skating stuff?
Skateboarding, skating. Yeah, that's the thing. Have stuff that's like we talked about. There's games I will not play on stream.
Mm-hmm.
There are projects I don't work on stream.
Yep.
Crafty and otherwise. Because those are things I want to enjoy on my own. And then there's things where I'm like, please keep me company. I'm lonely.
Oh, too real. Too real.
Yes. Wow, Mandy, I invite you on and you attack me like this. Thank you.
No.
Wow, thanks for that. Thanks.
Well, you know, I'm also attacking myself. So
That's
yes. Hi, I'm Lady Luck. This is who I am. This is fine. I regret nothing, or I regret everything. I'm not sure. Could be both. Could be neither.
Yeah, it's a balance.
Yeah. But speaking of which, I think here's a good place to wrap, because it's been about 2.5 hours. I know Pirate's planning to stream later. I need to finish prepping for Rivals because Gus was ready to DM anything tomorrow.
Okay, I just want to know, are you going to put them in jail and leave them there?
You know, I seriously considered
always the fallback.
I seriously considered, so I'm not going to do this, or I may not do it at least tomorrow. I seriously considered having someone show up from one of the Strixhaven colleges and put them in jail, and they'd have to break out. But in the Space Rock jail that's in Spelljammer.
See, there's a reason I'm not a GM, y'all. But if I was,
you would do that.
In my mind, I'm like, no, I'm just gonna make them wake up in jail with no memory of what happened in between seasons. Like,
oh, I do love me a good, like, what is it? The N Medius Rex, is that the thing I'm talking about? Like I bet you're wondering how I wound up in this situation type of thing.
Yes, that like, and I'm thinking of Zero did a tweet about this a long time ago that was like being a good like GM or trying to improve your GM skills, and it's like, oh, well, where did you all meet? Oh, you all met together at a bar. And then like the final like option was like, the scene starts with y'all all at the gallows about to be hung, and the executioner leaning over and being like, get ready to run. And that's how everybody starts off meeting each other. And so I'm just thinking about like, what is the biggest way you could throw a wrench into the Rivals?
Yeah, like my favorite homebrew campaign I've ever DM'd, which unfortunately fizzled out due to COVID and people leaving the company I was DMing it at, was they started out, they were in a shipwreck. And like it started with them coming to on the ship, which is in the process of actively sinking. And but that is where we start. And then kind of go back and kind of establish how everyone wound up on that ship in the first place. But because I had a lot of new players, and giving them that thing, like, this is your immediate crisis and this is what we are starting with, it pulled them so far out of that anxiety of, you all meet at a bar, just talk to each other. Like, it's such an effective storytelling technique, especially for new players. I also just throw the Rivals.
Sorry, not sorry to the sorry, not sorry to the Rivals for what may or may not happen between now, which was Tanya's original plan, and tomorrow when the show happens. Yeah. We are absolutely not to blame.
Yep. Just throw them in a jail. Is this jail flying?
Like, you all wake up hungover in jail. Okay. We're gonna end here before we put ourselves more at risk from the rest of the rivals being like, what happened? Pirate and Lady Luck happened.
I just imagine in this situation, they all wake up hungover in jail. Every last one of them is going to turn to Kent and go, "What did you do?"
I do feel like this is a scenario it would be Kent or Gosrick.
This isn't weird. It's not weird.
It's not weird. I get so much use out of that clip.
Oh boy. I might have to change plans now.
What have we done?
Not much.
This is fun. So we should end stream now before we put bigger targets on ourselves for the rivals.
Oh, I love getting to sow chaos seeds when other people have to deal with the consequences.
Wow. All right. Keep chatting. I'm gonna go to our end screen and see who's live. Because
this is gonna be great.
I don't think Val is on.
No, Val doesn't start for another like 45 minutes yet.
Boo. And Drunken Mood is on, but he's playing Scorn, and I've decided I don't think I can watch Scorn. I'm not sad I did not get a key for it because I honestly don't think I could play it or watch it.
There are certain games like that where we'll wrap on something TwitchCon related when y'all were talking about variety streaming, where I was like, yes, like I like variety streamers because I'm a variety gamer, but there is absolutely certain games or just types of content where I'm like, look, you can play it and maybe I'll put myself in lurk and like have the volume really low, but this is not for me. And that's fine. I can like the streamer and say, I don't really want to be here for this content because I'm not interested in this game. So, you know, valid.
Yep.
I also really appreciate that you have started picking up my inflection of saying "welp."
Yep. Language chameleon. It's fun.
I was gonna raid unofficial Dragon Age Day, but they've disabled raids.
Oh no.
Oh no. Well, yep.
Well, I'm not sure why, but okay then. Let's see who else is on. Dosmith is still on playing the Pokemons.
The Pokemons.
Girls Run the World is doing some kind of tabletop RP. Oh, it's doing like a check-in. Oh, Angry Black Lady is on playing Elder Scrolls Skyrim.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, Skyrim, the game that will never go away.
Nope.
I love the fact that her title is Lydia Has an Attitude Problem.
I appreciate it. On point.
Just Cypher, hi. And no one can see us. I'm on the end screen. But they can still hear us. So Angry Black Lady is playing and she's playing Skyrim. And I love that her title is Lydia Has an Attitude Problem. So go say hi. Angry Black Lady is her Twitter, Twitch, other socials. Yes. And if you like good political commentary, Imani Gandhi is where to get it. So let's go see what she's up to. Let's see if she's murdered Lydia like I did on accident. On purpose.
I will say on accident. Thanks for hanging out with us, everyone.
All right. See y'all later. Bye.